Don, I don't see no episode on my screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do need to watch Gru versus Megamind, not Hyper Beam.
You want to just stare at Hyperbeam and imagine the episode for like 20 minutes?
I hate that there's like a non-zero. There's a non-zero chance that would be better, but I don't want to. I don't want to be that person. I mean, this whole intro bit's going to be cut out because I haven't even done the proper introduction yet.
I do in fact know the next time.
I have an idea what the next time vaguely could be based on what Biff has told me, but that does not constitute knowing what it is. So
You've probably got a pretty good idea. You're usually pretty on the mark.
well, my idea, based on Biff's negative reaction, is that the next time is either a double returner episode, or they've already brought back Dragon Ball, Chainsaw Man, or My Hero Academia. If it's double returner, I really got no clue. With the others, I could see. I want to say Piccolo Knuckles is a possibility because I know that would really annoy Biff. For Chainsaw Man, the only matchup I know of is Denji versus Yuji, and I guess Denji versus Devilman, but no one asked. And for My Hero Academia, I mean, there's so many it could be. It could be Ida A-Train, it could be Hawks Falcon, it could be All For One, any of his matchups. They could bring All Might back, for no one asked. It could be a Stain episode, but I kind of doubt it at this point.
Man, I wish we lived in the Bakugo versus Flash Thompson timeline somewhere down the line, not this fucking season.
I like you say that. It's like, yo, yeah, you want 2 Bakugo episodes in 1 year. Sure thing, mate. Anyway.
I just wish we got Flash instead of Reze, but...
Yeah, anyway, hello everybody. It's me, Nathaniel Bloodreich. Depending on how accurate I was a moment ago, this video could either start here or start when I start talking.
So he's Markiplier and I'm Jacksepticeye, and today we're gonna watch a death battle.
Yeah, that's us. Hello everybody, here we're gonna watch Gru versus Megamind. This is a really odd installment of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh, sure fucking Jesus, I can't wait to see the minions on my favorite Death Battle YouTube channel.
My favorite Death Battle YouTube channel. It is the best one of them.
It's up there.
I mean, like, it's competing with the fucking, like, the dumb one. I'm not gonna say which one that is, and just the fights. Yeah.
Which one are we?
Hey, let's watch the episode now.
Okie doke.
I don't know who's gonna win. This is actually like a debate. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
Gru versus Megamind. You either die a despicable villain or live long enough to become an admirable hero. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And
Oh, there's Minion. Oh my god, they put the dehydration gun in like the opening sequence. Like,
well, yeah.
it merely goes dormant, waiting for a villain to arise and
Hi,
spread
Darkseid.
its name to the darkest corners of the earth. Like a man
yeah.
so evil, he cuts in line at the coffee shop.
Damn, is there no taking a shit game promo here?
What a despicable man. The world would surely
Oh.
tremble at his name. Gru.
Oh, there's man shitting.
Yeah, there he is.
Stage name or like doctorate or Felonious Gru, son of the supervillain known as the
I appreciate that he got 2 title cards for no reason.
Even as a small child, Gru had big aspirations. He could make rocket bikes.
We know his
Bald.
email address.
And this dog and his arsenal Gru.
Just bald is on there.
His new best buddy.
He did appear on Ellen. I forgot about that.
Now that's a supervillain name. Come on, man. With Nefario's help, Gru's gadgets, Gru gadgets, flamethrowers, sticky fingers, fantastic entertainment for 2-year-olds, and a fully weaponized airship. Though I must question this thing's aerodynamics. It's loaded up with wing-mounted machine guns, a rocket thruster that can escape the Earth's atmosphere, and a whole lot of missiles. Despite the impressive firepower, Gru's go-to weapon seems to be his freeze ray, which can encase most people in ice with a single shot.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so, given its name.
Teaching from the school ability, Gru
Gru started making strides in the underworld of evil. He swiped the crown jewels when he was only a kid, nabbed the New York City Jumbotron just for fun, and even stole both the Eiffel Tower and the Statue
But the
of
tiny
Liberty.
ones.
From Las Vegas.
Yeah, Gru was bad, but he wasn't good at being bad. A lot of his schemes kind of blew up in his face.
The line dividing genius from moron is a thin one. Just look at us.
Oh yeah, my back hurts from carrying all the genius between us.
Regardless, while Gru may not have been the infamous villain he'd hoped, he did earn the loyalty of a few guys.
Yep.
Guys,
Yeah,
Here they are.
guys, like little guys. There's Kevin. Bob,
I don't like him calling them little guys.
oh, the minions, and that's not just their role.
Yeah.
The actual name of their species.
Right. The minions have existed since the dawn of life itself, over 3 billion years ago, and they all follow one instinct: to serve the biggest, baddest, most despicable.
Are you
villain
excited
they
for
can
this
find.
analysis to be all minions?
No.
AI
There's
artists, whatever evil they can lay their grubby little
there's
eyes
sure to be
on,
more
or
Gru.
just one eye. But finding their big boss was
I mean, they haven't even touched on his like story yet, so of course there's gonna be more
The
Gru.
amount of times the minions have incidentally caused the death of their own bosses is staggering.
Wait, didn't one of them serve the Queen of England?
What about it?
Nothing.
The minions witnessed Gru's villainy
No, Jay
firsthand
Schlatt did that.
and decided that he would be the next big boss they follow.
It worked out like PB&J, because like Gru, these guys do machines.
The minions invented the fly swatter centuries before humans did. They somehow crafted light bulbs and instruments while living in the Arctic. So, naturally, building Gru's absolutely massive evil lair.
Mega minions.
They're geniuses. They once pulled off a jailbreak by building a flying machine out of prison outfits, fans, computers, and toilets. Aisle seaters are in shambles.
Was that Skibidi Minions? Was that Skibidi Minions, Don?
No.
Exploded by missiles.
Okay, what else was it? Did you know that MatPat took that scene with like that moderately sized missile hits the minions, and he extrapolated it to mean that the minions could survive any explosive on Earth?
1,000 minions clock into work every day.
And yet, in a real work
Did you know he did that?
be fired in minutes.
I did not know that.
There's nothing like
Yeah, he thinks minions can't be killed because that explosion means that any explosion they could survive it.
plans to go.
So like that was like a nuclear bomb level.
Love TikTok.
It's no wonder that, even with thousands of minions at his back,
The
Gru
TikTok
still
mention.
couldn't cut it as a supervillain. Maybe it was time to hang up the freeze ray.
When are we gonna get a death battle
Here's the
with?
Gru content.
Yeah.
Still double.
When are we gonna get death battle content with characters who have media from TikTok?
When he couldn't get the shrink ray he needed on his own, Gru required a new, even more despicable weapon.
Children. Specifically adopting 3 girls. And somehow it worked. Crime of the century, here we go.
How tragic that through all the dance recitals and unicorns, Gru discovered the joys of fatherhood.
Oh, story of my life. God, I'm so proud of her. Anyway, out with the villain and in with the bedtime stories.
But even though he turned a new leaf for his daughters, Gru wasn't done commanding his minion army. Now he'd just do it as not a villain by joining the Anti-Villain League.
The ABL hooked him
Whoa.
up with lipstick tasers and goop grenades, mini submarines and high-tech cars, and some great date nights with the future Mrs. Gru. Things are looking up, buddy.
5 minions even underwent experimental procedures to become
More
Oh.
minions.
before the Mega Minions.
10
That's horrible.
punches. Dave got super strength.
That's just
Gus got
awful.
Super strength and flight. Sorry, Dave. Jerry became an indestructible brick monster who eats live bombs. He's my favorite. And Mel's new laser eye can blast through the planet and hit a satellite on the other side in less than a second.
Calculating its speed across the Earth,
Oh.
it's 5% the speed of light.
So, Gru's true calling wasn't being a villain at all. He's an
They better not like scale Gru directly to that speed because that would be really weird. But then they did like the Cetrion Shao Kahn thing in the modern episode, so
But the most incredible element here is easy to miss. For billions of years, the minions have had the biological drive to serve the
More
greatest villain they could
minions.
find. And yet, despite Gru's turn away from villainy,
Mhm.
they chose to continue serving him. The minions' love for Gru is so strong, it overwrote their primordial genetic code.
They still see greatness in him, even now. After all, Felonious Gru will go to the moon and back to keep his family safe.
is it just me?
Don't touch that button!
Or did they not mention like any feats of power in that, aside from like blasting through the moon or through the planet? But even that is like it's a small hole, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they didn't give a number for it either. They calculated the speed, but that's the only like a number for anything we're given. Like the only direct power feat I can think of is, I guess, the minions can survive bombs,
Yeah,
and Gru can punch a shark.
that's very interesting. Like Gru himself and his tech, who knows what level it's at?
Megamind should be up next, but there is a chance that it got totally nuked. Watch, it has
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
no, yeah, I understand this. This must have been done at like the last moment because yeah, the thing with like the Megamind preview.
Yeah.
When the villain wins on a grim, dark day, the citizens of Metro City learn the
You get the story of the Wanted comic that the movie just ignored.
Metro Man was lost forever, bested by the fearsome supervillain destined for greatness, Megamind.
Cause if your rival
I love the really long subtitle that you couldn't possibly read in time.
goes way back to when they escaped
Yeah.
their dying planet Superman style and immediately got in each other's way.
While Metro Baby landed in a nice and cozy home, he caused the weird blue kid to crash land in prison and literally grow up behind bars. What kind of city government would make the kid stay in jail?
It wasn't as bad as you'd think. He was a perfect fit for the Metrocity prison for the criminally gifted. But while everyone outside bars loved that new kid who could fly, they weren't too keen on the boy with the big blue head and his constant string of destructive accidents.
So if he was going to be the bad guy no matter what, why not embrace it and become a true supervillain?
Huh, sounds kinda like you. Megamind is a genius inventor, creating weapons to stage prison breaks before he can even talk.
It does sound like me, with a bit of tutoring from Machiavelli.
Yeah, he's
Bald.
he's also got balls in there. Yeah. Oh, ew, no,
He did appear
no,
at Comic-Con.
no bitch ass Machiavellian mention.
Everything he needs. An invisible car for getaways, assuming he can find the thing. A hover bike for flying and shooting at the same time, if he can multitask. Lasers, bombs, bubble guns, baseball bats, jet boots, and more galore.
But his go-to is the D-gun, a laser pistol with various possible effects, such as destroying, decelerating, demoralizing, de-locking, de-gravity thing.
I wouldn't expect a guy calling himself Megamind to have the best name ideas, Wiz. He probably based the entire thing around his favorite setting, dehydration, which turns people and objects into tiny cubes for easy storage, though they can be returned to normal with a drop of water.
He did keep the whole mind thing running with his horde of henchmen, the Brain Bots. These mini-mechs follow Megamind's every command.
I used to have a toy of one of these. I also had a toy of the mech.
Which, according to the
Cool.
Director's commentary, is made up of over 100,000 brain bots. Though, ironically, I wouldn't call his brain bots, smart. That designation goes to Megamind's proper minion, Minion.
Minion serves many roles for Megamind.
Oh.
Sidekick, guy in the chair,
Then I
I
kind of thought they'd make a joke about the whole old chum thing, but
Plans to kidnap
huh.
news reporter Roxanne Ritchie to piss off Metro Man for the 19th time this week. Or for the final time. Children, shield your eyes!
He did it! Thanks to his most powerful invention of all, an orbital death ray that could shatter mountains, Metro City's hero...
well, okay then.
It was Megamind's time to rule.
And he had no idea what to do next. With Metro Man dead, what was even the point?
Clearly, he needed a new superhero to fight. And apparently, he could just make that happen. With his diffuser gun, he injected
yeah.
this loser with Metro Man's DNA, turning him into Metro Man 2.0. Titan.
Megamind even trained him himself, using his disguise generator and expert acting skills. What a performer! But for all his smarts, Megamind is a terrible...
I kind of feel like
When Titan turns
this is like a
tyrant,
better paced
Metro
analysis.
needed yet another
Maybe because they didn't need to worry about fitting the minions in.
Encouragement from an old friend, rival,
Maybe?
wasn't actually
I mean, we'll see.
Just let all of this happen despite
But
godlike superpowers.
I feel like there's like a better balance
Experienced friend
of the arsenal and the story
to the plate.
instead of having like a 3-minute gap between mentions of moments.
and dodged electric blast.
Yeah,
Was
little
strong enough
bit.
to toss around a skyscraper, and Megamind put up a solid fight with his mech armor.
A suit specifically designed to mimic the pilot's movements, whether it be lamppost sword fighting, busting a move, or being surprisingly stealthy.
And with quick thinking and some hench help, Megamind taught Titan a lesson he knew all too well. The bad guy always loses.
So the city decided to just forgive Megamind of all his years of terror and destruction and call him their superhero. I guess they didn't really have any better options.
Hey, Megamind took his new role as the city's hero seriously. He even built a suit that mimicked Metro Man's strength, flight, and X-ray vision.
Now, the D-gun is used to make runaway bad guys lose their balance and get caught. His portal bazooka is excellent for saving people from out-of-control cars. And while the death ray might not have been a hero killer, it's
The Megamind show, Megamind 2, your favorite things.
All for it.
Actually, once they went nice,
Kill you.
Minion had
Oh,
to legally change their name to
fucking.
Old Chum because of some other Minion-related thing.
What? You mean the yellow guys?
No, I mean they got a cease and desist from Mr. Minion's Meatsicles.
Sounds delicious. I'm still gonna call him Minion. You can't break up this duo.
Even as Megamind uses his tools for good, destruction still tends to be inevitable. To the point that, as the new mayor of Metro City and his new partner, Roxanne instituted a policy that anyone inconvenienced by a Megamind battle would receive a free cup of coffee. That sounds horrifically right for corruption.
So that's why there's so many Starbuckses everywhere. At least the brain bots are covering all the cleanup. It's a messy job being a superhero, but Megamind's finally found his purpose. Even saving the city from the Doom Syndicate, which is like six of him.
Ooh.
Without some self-induced difficulty. You have an instant wind gun on your hip. Use it.
Hey, with girlfriend, sidekick.
Yeah, you see, because he was
Did you
referencing,
catch it?
he was
Use the-
referencing
use the
you use the
dehydration
dehydration
gun.
gun. I appreciate it was a
Get it?
little.
That's the
I
only thing
appreciate.
about Megamind.
I appreciate it was more subdued than it could have been.
It's Metro City.
No mention of the binky
What happened to you?
with like the big feet. Interesting.
Of course not.
Is it gonna come down to speed? Like they're gonna calc the speed of the death ray, in the conclusion, and then it's gonna be lower or higher than like the minion laser beam, and they're gonna be like, that's where it comes down to. I can see that happening.
Who's your bets on?
I mean, it's hard to say. Just based on what they gave them, it really doesn't seem like Gru has much of a chance against just like the bullshit Megamind's throwing out. But then they could always word it in some way of like, yeah, but like Megamind's all his tech's in one gun. So if possibly, hypothetically, Gru was to get it out of his hands, then doesn't count. Something
it
like that.
definitely feels too like, I don't know, maybe just the pacing of the analysis. Like they kind of skimmed past any notable arsenal, so it kind of went in one ear and out the other. It was not really focused on unless it was like the minions or the D gun.
That's why it's
But
like.
there's also like,
That's why
I
I think I prefer Megaminds, is because at least the story part is kind of there. With Gru, I felt like the story part was weak, and the arsenal was weak, and there was like one stat. Yeah, my throat. And there was one stat. The minion, I think it'll come down to like how important the minions will be.
yeah, they mention Megamind dodging like an electric blast, but I don't think I caught a calc in there unless I just wasn't paying attention. And they mentioned that the orbital laser was like a mountain shattering, quote unquote. But it seems like in general, like they almost avoided talking about stats at all to like, I guess, try to keep the conclusion vague. Because I mean, the conclusion of the reveal, it obviously is a part of Death Battle, but like, I feel like if I were going into this not knowing anything about Gru or Megamind, or even going into it right now, I don't have a very good idea from the analysis who has what advantages.
Yeah, I do not know. I couldn't tell you who I think wins space, like who's going to win.
Anyway.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Prep the artillery. We're not letting him get away. Ooh, and here I thought it was the hero who chases the bad guys. Ha!
Macross missile barrage.
Minion, I'm going to need a new pair of pants. Yes, sir. Sending you the Sunday Best package. Take this.
Oh, that's an amusing bit.
The old Mexican standoff.
I do think that was a nice shot.
The green-eyed Sonic popsicle's a funny pull.
Just missing one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And what might that be?
You see, I mean, see? It's,
Start the music. Oh, check that mark in the morning. No, hey, we just fixed that. Come on, sir, smash 'em. Oh, hey, that's kind of cute. You dare challenge Megamind in my own monstrosity? Do you even know who I am? Well, life is full of disappointments. Hey! Now, as you like to say, Gun. You're going to steal my lines. At least do it properly.
Turn him into a cube.
Okay.
I didn't want this episode to include Vor.
Minion, is the death ray ready? Approaching. Getting there. Almost. Kinda. Maybe. On the way. Yes. Fire.
Sage, the death egg!
Roxanne's gonna kill me.
No way.
Oh.
Always win. This is how it's really done. Dehydration gun. Villain.
You see, because use the use the dehydration gun.
This is all a big misunderstanding. Huh?
See, because it's like with Metro Man.
Oh, work is going to kill me for this.
I guess that's
Huh.
2 for
Well.
Drew, 0 for Will Ferrell.
With so many chaotic factors in this fight, it can get overwhelming trying to keep track of them all.
So we'll break it down 3 ways: arsenal, minions, and skill.
In terms
Oh,
of weapon
boy.
versatility, Megamind definitely had much more to use. The D-gun alone had enough effects to match what Gru could do with nearly his whole kit. Throw in disguise generators, invisible cars, portal bazookas, and it's a lot for Gru to handle.
Just one problem. Megamind might have had variety, but Gru's weaponry was far stronger in scope. Sure, Megamind's death ray could blow up a mountain, but Gru's shrink ray could take out the moon.
No.
Like if well, first of all,
No!
he stole it. I guess he does still have it, but
Hold on. That is a very different thing.
Gru's weaponry has a much higher scale of effect. Yeah, but
This one thing
it can
that
affect something
is-
the scale of the moon, but all it can do is shrink it.
yeah, and also that's it's clearly like a small beam that just shrinks whatever it touches. Like one of those is destroying something 10 miles wide. The other one can affect with an anomalous property something the size of the moon. Maybe there's more to it. Maybe they like bring up some other weapon then. Hold on.
And is much easier to use on top of it. Frankly, much of Megamind's
Nope,
deadliest
okay.
weaponry would have little effect anyway.
Check this out. When Gru first tried to get the shrink ray, he triggered a missile trap so explosive it
Oh.
created a mushroom cloud.
Oh, okay.
The size of the blast. That was 4 kilotons of TNT, and all those missiles fired at him from point-blank range.
Shockingly, that's about 38 times greater than Megamind's orbital death ray. And Gru kind of just walked it off. Megamind's mecha suit could take big hits like that, but Megamind himself? No.
So Megamind would have a hard time
But he has the mecha suit.
But this is Arsenal, you see. This is not stats.
true.
blowing him up, but he could still they'll dehydrate him, disintegrate him, freeze him, or even just turn off his gravity and send him flying into space, right?
Sure, though Gru does have some similar weaponry. As far as arsenal is concerned, Gru could take out Megamind through sheer firepower, but Megamind could potentially counter with the D-Gun's effects. It's a whoever shoots first wins situation. Their arsenals match up fairly evenly.
But these
Okay,
guys aren't
fair
enough.
enough, I guess.
Let's cover Gru's minions and Megamind's minions.
1-to-1, one of Gru's minions was certainly more likely to take out a brainbot. Sure, minions may have the attention span of an iPad kid, but they can effortlessly hack, dismantle, and rewire most machines. Like, Megamind's brainbots.
And they just won't die. Certainly nothing the brainbots have can take them out. For all we know, the minions may be completely indestructible.
To be
So that thing you mentioned earlier,
Which one? The
that thing you mentioned about MatPat saying that the minions are indestructible.
yeah, mate.
I guess Wiz and Boomstick agree.
I guess they do.
one brainbot doesn't stand a chance against one minion, but there are far more brainbots than minions in total. 10 times more. And the brainbots are a much more organized and focused unit.
Compared to the vanilla minions, maybe. But the mega minions are strong enough to rip and chomp through metal like wet paper. Aunt Mel's got a history of destroying satellites with a laser beam strong enough to cut through the Earth. So it's bye-bye Death Ray.
But we can't ignore the most competent minion of them all. Megamind's minion. Old Chump.
He's way more competent than Dr. Nefario, can operate all the tech like the mech suit used to fight Titan, and can match Megamind's brains and style beat for beat. Remember that whole presentation bit in the movie? Yeah, that wasn't Megamind, that was Minion.
While Megamind's army lacks the power of, say, the Mega Minions, having a second in command who's just as smart and capable as him makes up for it, making a battle of their underlings too close to call.
Okay,
So,
that's
if
interesting.
Gru has
Interesting call.
cutting-edge weaponry or their henchmen, what matters most isn't the tools themselves, but how good or bad they are at using them. It all comes down to skill.
I would have thought it all comes down to speed based on how you described it.
Moments and bad luck. But even in the face of things going wrong, Gru tends to fail upwards, still ultimately completing his missions. Unlike Megamind, who tends to fail much harder before he learns how to succeed.
And we love him for it. It's not like Gru has to put up with Elvis Superman, but even during their villain phases, Gru found some success, unlike Megamind.
Who also has a bad habit of not using his weapon effectively.
As Death Panel assumes each combatant is winning intent, so Megamind electors use its deadly weapon, intangible, and so. However, continued laxness versus Gru's consistent success suggests Gru is more practical. I guess.
I suppose.
Like never using the D-gun against
Oh, for
the
fuck's
Doom
sake.
Syndicate, either because he can get easily flustered, or he just loves showing off. So it's more likely Gru could succeed in a whoever shoots first wins quick draw situation with their arsenals.
Quick Draw is right. Megamind
Oh.
electric blast is impressive.
Yeah,
Speed is not skill.
But
That's very different.
Into Gru piloting hypersonic ships into space and dodging heat-seeking missiles at Mach 10, meaning he is fast enough to win that quick draw. Gru takes skill.
No, that's not what that means.
Scales. After a nail-biting back and forth, he has just enough to land the winning blow first, more often than not.
Sorry, Megamind. I think you losing was a atrocity.
It's Metro's... trust... The winner is Felonious Gru.
Next time on Death Battle.
Who? Oh, right, okay. Oh, I guess I was right, in a way.
Reze was last fucking episode. Literally the last episode, we got a Chainsaw Man character. How long ago was Gojo versus Makima?
At this point, I do not care. I was already kind of mixed on how I felt about this episode, Grumind, and I was ready to go back, rewatch it, collect my thoughts. Now I just kind of feel like everything's just been like sucked out, like interest just gone.
Yeah, because this is the third of 5 episodes revealed this season. I guess 6 technically. We know Egg versus Trap was probably going to happen this season, but the third so far that is 2 weekly Shonen Jump characters. And of the 2 that are not 2, one of them still has one, and it's against Metal Sonic, who had already been here 4 times. And not only is this 2 more Shonen Jump characters, it's one from a series we've already covered, whose story overlaps with the character that we already just covered in the episode before this.
This makes me more annoyed by like the detailed explanation of what the Chainsaw Devil is. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you included that, but you also like, after one episode of brief pausing, you're gonna go back to that again. So why bother? I know they had to pad out reses, but
I've heard good things about Modulo. I have not read it, but Jujutsu Kaisen's last arc and the last half of Chainsaw Man Part 2, a lot of people really don't like. A lot of people, the endings of both like base JJK and Chainsaw Man Part 2 were received very mixed. And a lot of what's keeping them relevant right now, besides just waiting for their anime adaptations to continue, is slander memes, which unfortunately is kind of just the state of shonen manga fandoms right now.
mm-hmm.
But between the controversy around the series and the fact that this debate's just kind of fucking annoying, like if you thought Gojo versus Makima was kind of irritating with both sides completely sure that they stomped the other one, Denji versus Yuji, as far as I've seen, seems to be the same thing, where one side will swear, oh well, Yuji takes AP and durability, and Divergent Fist can just remove Pochita from the equation, so he wins no diff. And then the other side will say, yeah, well, Denji's faster, and his regen and existence erasure stuff mean that he's just gonna blitz and hacks Yuji to death, and it's gonna be a no diff. So I don't expect like the debate to be any fun. I don't expect the build up to be any fun. Which, granted, this could just be me being pessimistic. This could just be me being negative. But just the matchups alone this season have given me so little to stick and like hold on to. Like, I understand right now, Dead Battle's independent, so they need to cast a broader net to get viewers, because they don't always, like, they can't always guarantee a sponsor. They don't have a bigger company giving them money. So I understand that. But at the same time, the circumstances of it where we're getting all of these matchups back to back to back, on top of some of the episodes just being kind of hit or miss in general anyway. Like, I'm sure we'll get stronger episodes as the year goes on. Stuff that's just either had more time or just ends up turning out a better product for whatever reason. But so far, this season, this year, has really not left me with a lot. Ichigo versus Yusuke was good, but that's about as much as I got out of it. And this episode just came out, so I guess I can't say 100% like how I feel about it like tomorrow or a week from now or whatever. But like the last few episodes have really done nothing for me, or just I actively didn't like them. And then it's crazy because just with these waiting periods, Ash versus Yugi was like 4 or 5 months ago. It feels like it's been so much longer.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say I feel like I'm almost disenchanted with the state of Death Battle as it currently is, but it does seem to just be like a circumstantial thing of an audience can only take so many like shonen battle manga matchups back to back to back, with Gru versus Megamind being like the one thing that mixes it up.
I like how you said cast a broader net in the context of a more Chainsaw Man and bring Jujutsu Kaisen back.
Cast a broader net is in just like bringing in a bigger audience.
I mean, hopefully this episode.
I mean, these shonen episodes do get views.
I mean, hopefully it performs better than Bakugo Reze did.
Hopefully, which, I mean, this one isn't just purely based on a flavor of the week slander meme from like 7 months ago.
Yeah, this is a matchup that exists, so that's gonna have bigger draw to it.
these characters are also in the entirety of their story, so you actually have shit to talk about for both of them.
I mean, at least Death Battle is trying to strike when the iron's hot, as opposed to like the Luzanne situation or the previous Steven Starr situation where they waited for the sword to get shipped to the deliverer before they struck it. Like,
Yeah,
at least
which
that.
I mean, like,
Let's give credit for that.
Gru versus Megamind's not Megamon. Gru versus Megamind's not exactly timely. It was being requested while there was no new Megamind content, and then new Megamind content came out, and people fucking hated it.
And people like were very cautiously suggesting it after that. Yeah. All right, do you want to go back and rewatch the fight? Just because I really have no idea how I feel about it. I swear there are things I liked and there are things I didn't like, and there was a lot of like, look, he did the nearly almost there reference. That's from the thing. Yes, from the movie.
That's another thing is it feels like there's so many references for the sake of references. Because I understand that within Death Battle's fandom, especially, there's a lot of people that if a character's analysis does not touch on every single like point of their character development and doesn't mention every major named character within that protagonist like friend circle or rogues gallery, they're gonna be like, oh, they don't know anything about the characters, they hate them, and they did my favorite character terribly. But on the other hand, it feels at times like I'm just being fed like TikTok shorts recaps of stories of things that I've already seen or things that I could see for myself instead of like a rundown of their arsenals. How powerful is this? What does this mean for a fight? Here are the things they can do. Plus how their character development informs this, which there's some of in this.
I mean,
like,
again, I would say I would only apply that to Megamind in this. Because in Megamind's analysis, they talk about, like, here's the stuff he used after this and after that, and there is something there. They bring up the Death Ray and its effect in the moment it's relevant. But then with Gru, it feels like they...
Gru's, like, extra stuff when he joins the AVL, but I don't remember a lot of it being used in the fight, and there's also just, like... who fucking cares about that tech, honestly?
I think part of the reference thing as well is that's kind of what people have been begging for, so it's not entirely on Death Battle to just, you know, meet demand with supply of references, because like there are people who go into the new hype matchups go, what do you want to see referenced in this fight? What scene do you want them to replicate in this
what
thing?
lines do you want them to paraphrase or quote? What memes do you want Wiz and Boomstick? If Shrek shows up, do you want Boomstick to go, what are you doing in my swamp? And then Wiz says, you know, Shrek deep down had layers like an onion.
I could genuinely see him doing that. But deep down, Shrek had layers like an onion. Like, exactly in that inflection.
Like, it's always the same cadence, too. It's always the same cadence, which I get to. Like, Death Battle's been going on for a long time. The writing teams have swapped. The people portraying, like Ben and Chad themselves, have gotten older. They've been doing this a while. With time, things are going to change. Not necessarily worsen, but be different. But there is just, like, almost like a formula to how things sound. I'm trying to figure out how to, like, there's a certain diction that it feels like every line is read with, or like every joke where Boomstick will be like, Shrek farted and was able to make a fireball this big. That's this many joules, Wiz. Like, I feel like I have not heard him say something along the lines of, that guy's my fucking hero, or it's like a laser pointer that points and then there's no more anything, or whatever.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
The way that you do not Boomstick is very season like 1 through 3 Boomstick, and that's the kind of cadence that I miss from the character.
Yeah, you'll never believe when Not Death Battle came out and what it was parodying. You never believe what Not Boomstick it was a parody of.
Where it's like it feels like the ghost of season 2 Boomstick has just taken host in Not Boomstick's body.
I mean, Not Boomstick's a little more competent, but yeah. That's not really saying much, though, is it?
Anyway, let's watch this fight.
Yeah,
and stop
let's watch the
fucking
fight.
Rambling.
Stop complaining. Let's try to enjoy something.
It's time for a death battle!
Because I do want to like this episode. I do want to like this episode. I like the matchup. I like the characters. I like the approach. It's a lot more comedic. I can forgive the bad Gru model because I kind of get the options they had weren't phenomenal. I like the story of them both just kind of assuming the other guy is like the villain and the death is like a complete accident. Like that's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think this is amusing. The missiles completely miss, but they just don't have the power to keep going. That's fun. Minion is oddly playing the role of Otacon in this one.
I mean, that's kind of what he does sometimes in the movie.
I guess he's more like Grim, for being honest. Otacon did something. Again, I like that
What
shot.
does Minion accomplish, actually? He's kind of just commentary.
Yeah, he brings the death ray, I guess.
He does bring the death ray, that's true.
I like this, like them just talking about what they do.
Is that hold on.
Yeah, that was pants.
Why did he have pants? Is that a reference I'm not catching?
Stripped it off a minion. It's I mean that's a bit of a I get the reference at least, why that's there. I think that's the reference people wanted was presentation. And I think the only reason it would kind of feel a bit off is because Zatanna already did it. That's not a fault of this episode, though. I don't think it's a fault of this episode. I appreciate that they kind of did a little different with, the whole holographic Megamind moving with it. Instead of, him walking out on the tongue and doing it. That's fun. He does do that here, but, whatever.
Do you even know who I am? Well, life is full of disappointments.
I do think as it goes on, Gru's line reads get better as well.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't give a fuck about the Mega Minions, though.
No. I'm glad all they did was this one thing. They don't, focus too much on them. I don't like the Vor. The Vor's unnecessary. They didn't need to do that.
Okay, thank you for the help.
No, but I guess I could picture it happening in a Despicable Me movie, so...
Yeah. This reference is just there for the sake of having the reference. It's not particularly funny. I do like that. Blocking it with a minion. And that just works.
I think he uses the laser minion to try to intercept it.
Is that what happened?
I think so. Hold on.
Yeah, I think we can always go back. Does he shoot a beam up? Yeah, he does grab the laser minion. Yeah, he does shoot a beam up.
He
Okay.
gets fucking annihilated, though.
I did not see that. I kind of just pictured him blocking it with a minion. I think that would be funnier. I like that minion's that Mega Minion's still in the Angry Bird slingshot mode.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the whole ending being based around the dehydration gun meme.
This is all a big misunderstanding. Huh?
I do like that they're all just kind of shocked because they did not expect it to go that way.
Oh, work is going to kill me for this.
I kind of like the ending. I know that's just a Metro Man reference, the way he falls, the way his jaw is positioned, and all that. But I think it's funny. I think it's amusing. It's an anticlimax that kind of works because like it's the punchline is the anticlimax. They don't even like attempt a fake out because like once he gets undehydrated, I guess that would just be hydrated. It's kind of obvious Gru's gonna win from that point. So I appreciate that.
Little bit.
I'm still trying to pass how I feel overall.
It's fine. I don't dislike the episode. I definitely don't think it's more negative than positive. I'm just not like it's not scratching an itch for me, I guess.
At least it's something different though.
It is something different. It is a nice change of pace. And it's like, you know, for what it is for Groove versus Megamind, if the people that were pushing for that matchup got what they wanted, then that's cool. It's not a matchup to begin with I was that invested in. Like, it makes sense. I get it. I like the movies well enough. It's just the matchup itself does not do a ton for me. I will say the one part of the fight I really just don't think I like is that they twice cut away from Gru and Megamind themselves interacting so that we can see Minion reacting to stuff on a screen. Because it feels like there's almost parts of the fight that are avoiding being a fight. Because what we see on the screens isn't really like anything either.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was fun. I don't think I'm going to bother really engaging with any conversation around the next time. I'll watch it when it comes out, but I'm not.
I saw someone say that this episode looked like a DBX. I think that's very harsh or very complimentary to DBX.
Some parts look a little DBXy. I think the preview portion is not the best looking thing ever, but as the fight goes on, both Gru's delivery and the animation with the model definitely look a lot better.
Yeah. I think once you get used to the to the model and the voices start to fit a bit better, I think it definitely comes off better. I don't know if I guess like the environment does have that very soft, cheap kind of DVX look, but I don't know how else they were going to do that. It kind of looks out of Megamind and the Doom Syndicate, but like, you know, not quite as shit looking. So it fits. It's not like it doesn't fit. I think the episode has too much of a sense of scale for DBX, in the sense that just like the shot of them going to ground level with like the mega minions doing their thing and intercepting what's going on, and how it goes from like sky to skyscraper to floor, like that definitely doesn't feel like DBX. At least not a 3D DBX.
No, most 3D DBXs are kind of ass.
Yeah, and this, I would not say this was ass.
No, this was good. I don't know, because I'm definitely very just like, I guess, old-fashioned when it comes to Death Battle, where I prefer a fight be a fight, and I prefer the dialogue have a lot more of like, even if it's not perfectly in character, just like them saying original shit.
There was an attempt.
Like, yeah. Because it's like, I don't know, the first thing that came to mind was Tiger Zord Epion, but that's like split down the middle, where like Tommy feels like a Power Ranger being written into a death battle, and he's pretty funny. Him and Saba, I like that. Zex feels like they watched Gundam Wing and didn't like it that much, and they put like a nostalgia critic level of like understanding of the character into writing him.
It literally is what happened though. Like that just is the thing, because like Ben really didn't like Gundam Wing, and you can kind of tell just in the analysis how much he doesn't like it, which I think is really funny. But I was thinking like,
Which it's funny because I'm pretty sure Ben has talked about how he would love to use Burning Gundam, which like if you don't like Gundam Wing, which is a lot more of like typical Gundam like war drama, but with like way more teen angst. G Gundam is a complete fucking 180 into batshit insane like punch out level caricature, like global Dragon Ball Z fighting like dumb bullshit.
that's probably why he would prefer it. I think like the funniest thing I that comes to mind right now is that today I feel like Iron Man's I've Been Playing Human would not hit nearly as hard, because back then they didn't do the references and direct quotes nearly as much, so it was a bit more of like a it felt like something special. Like they actually did a thing from the thing, and they also completely recontextualized it as a badass boast as opposed to like a villainous line. Like there's a complete change in it. It directly bounces off a unique dialogue that Lex had.
Even the way that they used to like Hawkeye versus Green Arrow, for example, is just stitched together with voice lines from like actual products with them, and that dialogue feels more original than than like Thor Jita, for example.
Right? Yeah, I'm thinking like the boxing glove bit is that's what comes to mind for me. I think it's quite good. I like the boxing glove bit.
Or like the one little arrow, one big boom applying to the megaton arrow or whatever.
Yeah. Which like that's not a
like,
megaton explosion, if you're being honest, but muchness.
Like I just miss the banter. Or like Deadpool versus Deathstroke, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I would not want to see Deadpool today.
Who I wonder what kind of mark that weapon would leave. It's your lucky day. I can show you.
So yeah, Gru Megamind. It was solid. I'm definitely curious how I'll feel watching it more and writing my review for it. We'll see.
I think my big takeaway here, once again, like the last episode, the category system, I guess, helps it be more digestible for a like lowest common denominator viewer. I personally have an IQ above that of a nematode, so breaking it down into these like segments kind of feels like it's just meandering and giving like, because like including speed into skill doesn't make any sense, and it feels like there's a couple of like kind of bad faith arguments and like, well, Megamind sucks, so he just wouldn't do this. Or like Bakugo Reze had a similar thing where it's like, well, Reze takes stamina, but then they immediately go, but Bakugo's like fucking 50,000 times faster and stronger, so her regen doesn't matter, and she probably couldn't draw the blood she'd need to regenerate.
She probably
so
couldn't even
womp
use
womp.
it. It's like I remember people saying it could happen. Like it could happen where she wins via stamina. Here's the thing though, like when Bakugo is that much faster, the only way it could happen is if Bakugo chooses for it to happen. Like he is so much. Like, imagine playing like a fucking MMA match and then speeding it up to 5,000 times. Try to keep up with that. Try to keep up with whatever's going on before it's over.
He need to be gone in like less than a second.
Like it's not happening. Get the Iron Man match between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Speed that up 5,000 times. There might be something to watch. That's an hour-long fight. See how much you can keep up with. See how much is readable to you. That is what Reze has to deal with, and it's just weird to me.
Because there are times when the category system is kind of neat, like in Green Lantern versus Simone the Digger, them comparing willpower directly by like trying to actually estimate how much willpower they roughly equate to, and then comparing their creativity, since both can do basically anything, that's interesting because it applies to that matchup in that way. When we're talking shonen matchups, almost all of them are going to boil down to stats. There
Yeah.
might be a little bit of a hacks discussion, but when it boils down to stats, you can just say something like Reze may have had better abilities, broadly speaking, than Bakugo, and technically more conventional training. But between Bakugo's superior speed and strength, they just did not cut it. And that's as simple as it needs to be. We don't need to draw it out for like 5 or 6 minutes or however long
I
the conclusions are these days. Just going through category to category.
I think bringing up Kyle Simo is a really funny one because that's one of the episodes where it feels like the category system may as well not exist because it's not really there. They don't really use it. And I think, if anything, it very slightly hurts the episode because they put their creativity as equal, which I think is just weird. Because just look at what they actually do. Like, you don't need to go into all the minutiae of it. You can use your eyes, watch every fight in Gurren Lagann, watch a single fight involving Kyle Rayner, and tell me who's more creative and does more stuff with their powers. I think it's pretty clear.
Fair enough.
One guy is drill, bigger drill, throw sunglasses, biggest drill missiles, bigger drill, bigger drill, bigger drill. And then,
Undodgeable drill.
yeah, undodgeable drill. The drill that will pierce the heaven. The drill that will flush the toilet. And then Kyle's
It's literally
all
a guy
this
with
shit.
the power to do anything going, no, I bypassed that. No, you can't resist this because it's resist proof.
Kind of. Like, I think it's weird to give them equal creativity. If it was, like, worded as, like, abilities, I would be a lot more lenient. Because it'd be a case of, like, Kyle has all the abilities, Simone's power is nuh-uh. So, like, I would accept that a lot more. That's just a wording thing. That's more of, like, a semantic thing, I guess. But, like, this one, like, Grewmind does bother me. Because I think the only category... I think each category is a little fucky. Like, Arsenal has... Yeah, okay, so Megamind's got way more variety and way more going on. Gru has more destructive potential. That would be fine by me. But then it becomes more about, like, whose Arsenal can actually take out the other. As like, okay, I guess that's also reasonably fair, and both have ways for their Arsenals to win. So it's a draw, fine. I don't know why that moon bit was relevant. That was stupid and dumb. And then
A little bit. It definitely feels like it could have been narrowed down to just like Megamind has plenty of basically insta-win options, but Gru is faster, and if he can get in, basically all of his arsenal is either an insta-win or he's just strong enough to beat him to death.
that is essentially what the conclusion was amounted to, but they kind of doled it up a bit. Like, the minion bit is so weird. Minions over brainbots. They're way, way better than brainbots. Except there's 10 times more brainbots, so that means the brainbots are equal to the minions. But then Gru has the Mega Minions, which are way better than the brainbots. But then Megamind has Minion, who can
He's
operate
basically
as...
another Megamind.
Yeah, is another Megamind. And that makes it a draw. And, I guess...
It's crazy because, like, Megamind basically has the numbers to match regular minions, and then another one of himself. Gru may as well be irrelevant besides his speed because the minions are so much more powerful than he is.
They basically just go, the minions are borderline indestructible, which means essentially the brainbots are useless, and the only ones with the options, the abilities to take out the minions are Megamind and Minion, except they can only do that with one gun between the two of them. So how does they draw in minions? But, like, okay, fine. And then they go to skill, and it's like, that's not skill. It should be, if I'm being lenient, you could call that general competence, because that's basically what it amounted to. But then, like, just have a speed category. Just have a speed category. Just have...
Also, this is me bringing outside knowledge from what the death battle showed us. How fast is Metro Man's, like, feet when he fucking lives that whole day or whatever, while that like orbital laser is coming down supposed to be.
I believe it would be faster than what they gave. It's way faster than what they gave Gru and faster than the minion laser, but I believe Gru has better feats that can kind of match up to that, or at least the minions can. At least the minions can.
Megamind, both with his mech suit and with his Metro Man like copying battle armor, was able to at least keep up in speed with Titan, who just has Metro Man's powers. But then also, Megamind took those powers back out of him. Could Megamind not give himself Metro Man's powers? Does he not still have that laying around?
To be honest, it probably would have been a little more reasonable if there weren't a show directly afterwards that kind of, you know, has him not do that.
That made him suck.
Yeah. I'm just looking at Megamind's like feat list. Because I think the only issue with the Metro Man thing is that yeah.
Megamind himself couldn't keep up with it when it happened.
Yeah. And yeah, it can get up to 5 times the speed of light. So, you know, very fast. And it also, like, Titan only has, like, a fraction of Metro Man juice in him. But
okay.
I think that's,
I mean, a
like,
fraction of 5 times the speed of light should probably at least be comparable to the laser minion.
Yeah, I mean, it would be better. But I know that Gru has better feats too of speed. So it really just comes down to what you accept for speed for both of them. Like, there's a Flash game that gives Megamind 3 times the speed of light scaling. But, like, it's really fucky and weird.
It's like, I think it's a Die Hard game on, like, the Game Boy, where, it's something about, like, John McClane, like, cutting a wire before, like, a radio wave is able to travel through it or some shit like that. They get to, like, relativistic.
That's brilliant.
I'm like, I guess. That's stupid, but I guess.
Yeah.
I like that we've been rambling over Megamind's fucking skeletonized corpse.
Yeah. I'm still kind of like thinking about the minion thing. Like,
not even just Peter Parker, but like a Spider-Man character.
I think everyone agrees with the take of want more Spider-Man villains, especially.
Yeah, because we've had Venom twice and Carnage once, which, like, I like both of those guys. I don't think either of Venom's episodes are very good, at least on the Venom side. And then I don't like Carnage's very much, but I also don't like Carnage very much. And then Peter's episode has been like, what, fucking
very long ago,
16 years ago.
Very long
and then
ago.
After that, we got Miles, Miguel, Miles again, Gwen. It's just Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is not the only thing about Spider-Man.
To be fair, we got Miguel before he was in Spider-Verse.
We did get Miguel before he was in Spider-Verse, but he was in the Spider-Verse comics at that point.
True. Now people are wanting him to come back, specifically against Batman Beyond again, because of Spider-Verse.
No, just give me the Green Goblin, give me fucking Sandman, give me Electro, give me fucking anything. I don't even like the matchup that much. I'll take Mysterio versus Scarecrow.
Give us Kraven the Hunter. Everyone loves Kraven the Hunter, right?
Yeah, ignore that most of his history isn't him.
Yeah. Right, because the what was it? The last hunt, whatever, like, was just actually
Kraven's last hunt in
like
the 70s or like early 80s. Yeah, he dies there, and then he gets resurrected at some point, dies again, I don't remember if he's fully back or if it's like a life model decoy right now. But several other Cravens have taken his place. Some as just the title of Craven, some as like clones of him.
You know, that makes me think of like Craven versus the Shredder, but it's like the comic versions who have been dead for ages and just didn't do anything after, and it's just been like clones of them since.
That's a pretty funny idea though. You should do that.
Maybe. Uh, Give us Rhino. Everyone loves Rhino, right?
I do love Rhino and I love Shocker, and hell, I might be like one of maybe 5 people in this whole world that would be excited if Boomerang versus Captain Boomerang got announced. I will take anything.
I mean, I kind of have a responsibility to be excited for that. You know, just given.
Yeah, you as an Australian and me as like the resident fucking I don't know why boomerangs ended up being like one of my favorite weapons ever. I cannot explain to you with any kind of a reason why I love boomerangs as much as I do. I just think they're funny.
You know, I noticed you didn't mention Vulture in any of that.
Vulture's oddly prevalent. Like he's a very important Spider-Man character.
I mean, how odd is it
But
for him
I
to be
don't-
prevalent? He's like one of the first.
Yeah, he is the first like super powered villain that Spider-Man fights, because before that he fought like a robber, the Chameleon, and I guess he got into a tangle with the Fantastic Four. But like his first proper like nemesis is the Vulture. And then there's at least 3 other major Vultures and like a squad of Vultures that copied his technology, plus a couple other people that like use similar tech. Any kind of Spider-Man villain, there's a bunch of ripoffs. Like specifically characters that use goblin gliders or glider type things, because there's obviously the goblin ones, like there's Gray Goblin, King Goblin, Hobgoblin, but then there's characters like 8-Ball, Headsman, Carrion, Jack-o'-lantern, who have fucking nothing to do with the Green Goblin. They just also fly on these weird glider things.
Mm-hmm.
Give us who could 8-Ball fight?
I don't know. Give us a Big Wheel episode. When's Big Wheel getting on?
Big Wheel's funny, but he's a little bit of a tired meme. There are funnier Spider-Man villains, like Oddball, who is an evil juggler.
What if he fought every juggler from Pokemon?
It would mostly be Voltorbs.
Aren't the jugglers psychic in Pokemon?
No, the psychics in Pokemon just also like have the Pokeball above their head because they're like levitating it.
Right. I feel like the funny thing is,
if flying tiger death battle.
If My Hero Academia didn't exist, I could see Falcon versus Vulture. No, I can't. What am I talking about? I'm thinking of someone else. What's his name? Nope, his name's gone. Maybe. Yeah, I think it was Hawkman. I don't think anyone's asking for Hawkman, right? Like, because everything's always about Hawkgirl these days, isn't it? I feel like it's been a while where it's like all been about Hawkgirl.
Well, because Hawkman's thing for a while has been that he sucks, kind of the same way as Namor.
That sounds like a matchup.
Hawkman versus Namor does sound kind of funny. They both have wings. They both have godly powers.
And they're both bad at using them. They're both really old.
Yeah, they're both generally pesterouous to the women around them.
You know, the sky
They
versus
both
the sea,
wield a weapon.
They both wield a weapon. True. Truth nuke.
I think general Spider-Man.
Oh my god, what just happened? Whoa. Don, I hate to tell you this, you are turning into an analog horror villain right now.
I because I so
This is not just me on my end, right, guys? Like you guys can all hear this too, right? As Don slowly turns into like an alternate. Are we back? I think Don's, and like the sound of Don is going even beyond when he like mutes and like. I had no clue what's going on, fellas. I'm very confused. How about I try to leave the call and come back? Are you alive? Are you a real thing? Are you still a cryptid?
I'm here.
Okay, you're alive again. You're back. You're no longer some kind of satanic demon.
Okay, cool. I was saying I was going back rewatching old Death Battles, and I ran out of Marvel versus DC content, and it feels like back in the day it was such a big problem that could never happen, that you could just like you could spend forever watching all the Marvel versus DC episodes. And honestly, these days it feels like there aren't that many.
It's because there aren't.
I mean, yeah, not that many released in like recent seasons, but I mean, just overall, like right now, it does not feel like there's that many Marvel versus DC episodes.
I guess. I think the thing is, a Death Battle does things in like batches, even like, or phases. Like, season 1 to 3, the main thing was video games. There's a lot more video game episodes, even up to like season 4.
Yeah, fighting games especially.
Fighting games especially. Like Killer Instinct has probably by far the least amount of content of any franchise to be used as often as it has. It has 3 games, 4 if you want to be the guy to separate gold with 2. It has a handful of comic runs, a 1 novella, some collectible cards, and each character has their own little like sneeze and you'll finish reading it story on the website, and that's about it. And it's been used so much.
I so deeply miss them using like really popular characters, because like these days, right, they'll use anime characters that are like, yeah, I guess that character's fine, but they don't have that much to talk about, like your Reze, like your Genos, like your whatever. Or they'll use just like fucking Dragon Ball characters all the fucking time, or Sonic characters all the fucking time. But I remember back in the day when it was like oh shit, RoboCop's coming in, and RoboCop's got like 3 movies and a cartoon, and he's got like shit to talk about, and he's got a big ass arsenal because he's a cool character that does cool action shit. Or like, oh my god, it's a Goku's coming to Death Battle for the first or the second time. Look how many things he has to talk about, because he's a character with a lot of content. And I don't know, like I don't know how to describe it. Like I get excitement these days when I see characters that's like, that's a big character. That feels like there's going to be a lot interesting to talk about. I really liked seeing James Bond on Death Battle. I really liked seeing Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Death Battle. I loved seeing Godzilla come back to Death Battle, just because these characters have so much history to them and there's so much interesting to go into. I don't mind going into like and like a manga or whatever that has basically the one story front to back, and I don't mind characters that have like a very neat arc to go over. But like a Master Chief, for example, back in the day, it was like, here's the basics of him and like a little like drop of his character, but mostly we're going to be talking about the arsenal and feats because it's a Death Battle. That's what this show is about. And then these days, it's like, here's a lot of his backstory, here's references, here's some of his weapons, most of which he will not use and won't matter for the debate. Here's a couple of calcs. And then here's the conclusion of his arc, / a couple of other things that happened to him. And it's like, I don't know. It feels like we're trying to do too much. It feels like we're doing too much.
I think, like, there's something to be said about like the structure of the analyses, and I think this is where for me the shonen like abundance gets to me, is that there's a very different analysis style used for video game character, comic character, manga character, so on. Like with a video game, like you can tell there's a very different analysis between Cell and Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic has his story, kind of, has some of his character, kind of, and you can tell there's a lot of history that they're talking about, because they don't focus on any like individual narrative. It's like, here are some of the narratives, here are his abilities, here's his scaling and all that. While with Cell and other characters from shonen properties, you can tell it's following one story. The escalation of power is very linear, and generally the actual abilities can all be slotted into like one small section. Like there's one bit talking about, here's all of Cell's abilities, and then here's what he did, here's his scaling. And that's a very different kind of analysis to Metal Sonic. And then comic book characters have their own further difference, where they'll have their intro. This is their origin story. Here are all their powers. And usually there's like quite a lot of powers or arsenal to go over. That's the meat of a comic analysis. And then here's their feats and their scaling. And then here's like maybe
like,
one
I love
relevant
those
story.
Two where there will be bits of like, here's this crazy shit that happened to them one time. Like I remember, it seemed like a crazy thing at the time when Thor versus Wonder Woman came out, where they're like, yeah, this guy blew himself into like a billion pieces across the universe and then shot back at her and she deflected all of it. Or them talking about like, one time a building like fucking got destroyed, blew up or burned down or whatever, and the Flash just went and got all the materials, read how to put a building back together, and then did it.
Yeah, there was definitely more excitement and shock in like the delivery for some of those feats. I think Hulk vs. Doomsday will always be like a great example for me, where those feats are very minute in comparison to what they're really capable of, but they put a lot into emphasizing just the sheer ludicrousy of, look at all this shit that Hulk's done, look at all this shit that Doomsday survived, and they put a lot of emphasis on them. I feel like today when they put emphasis on something, it's not because it's crazy or weird. You can kind of tell it's because that's going to be in the fight. I think Lex Doom's a great example of this, where they put a lot of emphasis on some really weird tech that Lex has, and you can just tell, oh, that's because he's going to use it in the fight, right? It's not because it's actually that interesting. It's because you're going to have it in the fight. And that's exactly what happens with the transdimensional banana gun, whatever. Like it's something that you're gonna see in the fight. That's why it's emphasized, and not like, here's something they couldn't believe happened, and here's the thingy.
Or like even Ant-Man versus Adam had like the fun aside about like, here's just some fucking ant facts because we're talking about Ant-Man.
Yeah, and so like those analysis, like the different kinds of analyses, I think are great for Death Battle, the way they approach each one differently. But when you're getting a season where all shonen, it becomes a lot more repetitive, and then the only difference is like, here's Metal Sonic, he's got a very different analysis. Funnily enough, they do not mention his main character trait of like the imposter syndrome thing. That's just not there, which I think is really funny. And then the only other difference is with Gru versus Megamind, where Gru's analysis is kind of just, it kind of feels like Minions, plus there's some Gru, which is, I think, maybe unavoidable due to how big a factor the Minions are. While Megamind's analysis...
They do have two own movies.
Yeah, well, there's another one coming.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it in the trailer for it in theaters, and I was sitting there to watch the epic Super Mario Galaxy movie. And Megamind's, I think, was generally more solid, as I've already said. I feel like Megamind's would be great if they actually included any versus stuff in it. Because otherwise it does come across as a very basic rundown of his first movie. Here's some of his arsenal. Here's a dehydration gun meme. They kind of skim over Doom Syndicate, which, yeah, fucking fair enough. They don't really do any calcs. They don't do anything like interesting. They don't really bring up any feats. So it doesn't feel like an analysis of Megamind. It feels like a summary of Megamind.
Yeah, that's a good way to phrase it. Is I feel like a lot of modern death battle analyses, not all, not even most of, but a lot of modern death battle analyses, or at least portions of them, feel like a summary of the characters, not an analysis of them. We're not looking into what they could do. We're not looking into what kinds of weapons they have, or like the tactics that they use in a fight all the time. A lot of the time, we're like, here's their character arc, and here's the things they have. Look, name drop, name drop, name drop.
Yeah, yeah. I can feel that's often the case, and again, I feel like it's a lot more noticeable because of the repetition. Like, if we were to get random matchup off the top of my head, I'm also trying to think of one that would like annoy you specifically. Like if they brought like another Sonic character in, and it was like a return to fight. Like if we had Shadow versus like Vincent, or Shadow versus Mewtwo rematch, or Shadow versus Soul Bad Guy.
Shadow versus Mewtwo would piss me off. Let's go with that one.
Okay. If like that was to happen, or even like Mario Sonic 3, at the very least, the analysis would hopefully be different feeling. I mean, I guess more with Mario Sonic 3, because they aren't like with Shadow. It's gonna probably feel very similar because Shadow has his story in Sonic Adventure 2. Whatever the fuck was going on in Shadow the Hedgehog, and then his entire story after that is like nothing until Shadow Gen.
Yeah.
But let's go Mario Sonic 3 instead. If that was to happen, at the very least, Mario's analysis and Sonic's analysis would feel different to what we've had around it. They would talk about, here's the backstory, here's all the crazy shit they've done, here's like the way they've influenced their friends. That could be like the big ending thing. Like Mario, you know, he's a very simple guy. There's not much going on with him, but he's just a chill, solid dude with a bit of a competitive streak, and he's managed to befriend even his worst enemies. He's just like a really solid dude. And with Sonic's, it's like, yeah, he's always here and there, but like, thanks to his speed, he can be there for all of his friends. He can be there to support them, and he can even watch as they mature and no longer need him. But there will always be someone who might need him, and then the rest in the middle can be focused on their arsenal, their abilities, their feats, and it can feel different to what we've gotten. Even if I wouldn't want to. I mean, I guess I'm kind of selling you Bowser Eggman, like that analysis where it's just like, here's all the crazy shit.
Specifically, if it were structured like old Death Battle, I would imagine it being like, Mario has had like every kind of job you could think of, but he was a plumber with his brother. Then they went to the Mushroom Kingdom, fought Bowser, saved Peach, and then most of the rest of it is, here's some of the crazy feats that, like, here's a list of power-ups would be like the main thing. Here's all the crazy power-ups they've got. Here's some of the like wacky adventures or some crazy feats that they've been on or that they've done. And then talk about like, here's the high scale of stuff. Here's like some actual scaling and feats for stuff. You may think it's crazy that Mario's able to fight gods, but not only does he do it in the RPGs, he does it in Mario Party. He does it in the sports games. He does it all the fucking time. He's fighting some crazy shit. And he's just a little tiny fat Italian man. And then something, fuck yeah, Mario. And that's the end of it. But if we got a Mario analysis today, they would have to go into like some comic explaining Mario's backstory, and then they would talk about how he went to this place and he made a new friend, Princess Peach, and then there's a splash card with Princess Peach's name where he fought the evil turtle wizard Bowser, and then there's a splash card with Bowser's name, and we have to have a splash card for Luigi, and we're gonna have a splash card for fucking Toad for some reason, because of course we have to. And then we're gonna get into the scaling, and we're gonna super emphasize the scaling specifically from like Mario and Luigi Dream Team, where they beat like the fucking evil star that can affect like the dreamscape of infinite realities or whatever, and they name drop whatever, like a fucking Antasma or whatever the fuck, and he gets a splash screen despite the fact who gives a fuck about Antasma. It's not important to Mario, because back then, even if their biggest scaling was a complete nobody, it would be a footnote where it'd be like, this is the biggest thing they ever done, it was done by this guy. It wouldn't be like, and you need to remember this guy, here's how this did it. Or like, if we had a Mario analysis today, they would be, because like obviously the big ones to bring up are like the Fire Flower, the Invincibility Star, the Cape Feather, the Mega Mushroom. But then these days they would be like, oh well, he can multiply himself with the double cherry, and he can transmute things into gold with the gold flower, and he can become invincible with some stupid fucking bullshit that does not matter. Uh, or like bring up some random power ups from the RPGs that give him immunities to certain things or whatever. Like here's a stopwatch he has that can pause time, but only in the dream world. And then there's gonna be some like moral of the story of like in time Mario learned to become a hero. And Sonic's going to have the same things where they're going to name drop this character, this character, this character. Fucking Time Eater's going to get a splash card because of course he is. Solaris is going to get a splash card. And then they're gonna make a reference about like they're gonna make some stupid fucking meme references. They're gonna reference the Mario movie. They're gonna reference the Sonic movie. They're gonna reference Pingus, and they're gonna reference Chili Dogs, and they're gonna point and say, "Hey, look, we know this thing. Here's a reference to the thing you know. You know this thing that you're watching a video about. That you probably clicked on because you know who these characters are. I'm gonna tell you things you already know about them. I'm being too mean. I'm being way too mean about it. But like
a little.
there comes a point.
I think the most interesting thing of all that you said is that idea of like they won't ramp up feats. They'll have like a feat that they did themselves and then a scaling they have, as opposed to like or they'll ramp it up with like Mario can break bricks. He can even kick this castle. More impressively, with power-ups, he was able to fight this guy, and like that would be the 3-step process. It won't be like here's like a big list of the stuff they've done, and then Speed will kind of get the same treatment. Like I do think that would be the case, which is not necessarily different to what they've done before. It's just the way they would approach it, like the tone of it, would be different.
Yeah, there's also like it feels like these days Wiz and Boomstick don't have any kind of edge to them. Like every now and then they'll like say something a little off color or whatever. But it used to be that like Wiz and Boomstick were just like actual pieces of shit. Where like today they would be like, "Oh, and Mario's so freaking overpowered he could do this. That's pretty crazy because I mean, look, he's just a little guy, but he's so strong. Isn't that impressive, Wiz?" Where old Boomstick would have been like, he may look like a short, shitty Italian plumber that just fixes sinks for a living, but this little fucker can kick a Bowser 500 times his size all the way to the other side of the solar system.
There's also like we would not get like the Michael Vick joke today from
No.
He-Man Lion-O, I think. That would not be a thing. There's like but like that I think is more just like the landscape of comedy has kind of changed.
Yeah,
that's gonna
like,
happen.
Boomstick used to be so vocal about when he thought something was fucking stupid, or when he thought something was awesome, or was disappointed. Nowadays, it seems like he's just trying to. I don't know. Like obviously, different writers too are going to write Wiz and Boomstick the characters different ways, especially because nowadays the Death Battle like team in general is mostly made up of people who were fans of Death Battle when it was a smaller team. And so they're trying to write Wiz and Boomstick how they write Wiz and Boomstick, when Ben or Nick would write Wiz and Boomstick as just, this is how you write a death battle. This is how we're making this show that we came up with.
Yeah, because I just think New Death Battle is not nearly as funny. Like Death Battle right now is not nearly as funny to me. And that might be because like my sense of comedy in Versus was shaped by old Death Battle, so there's definitely some bias creeping in there in how I feel about that, which I won't deny. But I do feel like it's just not as funny. Like back to He-Man Lion-O, the bit where Boomstick just interrupts Wiz in the middle of what he's saying about like He-Man's experience to talk about what did he just magic the chain back together, and the way he just like loses it for a moment, the music changes. And Wiz's only response is, it's just the magic of the 80s, man. And Boomstick's just like, he's still on that. Like, that's funny. I think that's funny. I think that's way funnier.
It's also just like,
and then Boomstick references a thing.
Sometimes a punchline would be amplified by a clip from the thing too, which I understand. Copyright, especially on modern YouTube, fucking sucks.
Especially for this episode in particular.
Yeah, there's just something missing where you used to be able to like Godzilla versus Gamera, for example, when they're talking about like Gamera's big chest laser or whatever the fuck, there could just be like, oh, when he has this big laser that was able to obliterate this kaiju, and they're like showing it in the background, but they're able to like let the scene play itself with the music and with the sound design of the clip, where his chest opens up, the big laser fucking hits Legion and just annihilates her, and then Boomstick just goes, fuck yeah, and then it continues without like missing a step. Like, that hits so much harder, which obviously that's not Death Battle's fault that they can't do that now, but
It is my wait. It's my fault. I don't think I did that.
it's not. Oh yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, that part I think is unavoidable. You look at a lot of old episodes that have the little like CC written under them, the copyright claim thing. Like they got hit with it on those older episodes. You can tell.
And obviously, like, with Death Battle being like a proper company in and of itself, and a production that needs to like pay the people that work on it, you can't afford for an episode to be fully copyright claimed. Like, memberships and Death Battle website memberships and whatever all else does help, but
yeah, I mean, given the state of the Death Battle website, they need as much as they can get from the revenue. That might seem mean. I just think that website is
could use some work.
I think Death Battle put all their time into like the episodes. Maybe they should be more put into like the website, into the rewards. Maybe put more time into marketing the episodes, getting the hype going, you know? Like, I can't stress how back in the day, to use that terminology, it would always be really exciting, new episodes coming out, people talking about it. There's also the Death Battle crews talking about it. Ben will say something a little cheeky on Twitter about it. And like as time went on, they'll be like, you know,
they'll be teasing Wonder Woman versus She-Ra with, oh yeah, this is gonna be hype, and it's just a fucking white square.
Like, there was a lot more fun in that, you know? I felt it a lot more. And then today, it's like complete dead silence for several weeks, and then they'll do 2 previews. They'll show an animation sneak peek like a millisecond before the episode drops, and then bam, the episode's here. Move on to the next one.
It's also like, even the non-Death Battle episode content that we get has become so community focused around a community that, and I'm gonna be frank and say this with my whole chest as loud as I can, the Death Battle community fucking blows. This community sucks. It's just not like, because at its debate, it's about nerds fucking bickering and arguing about shit that doesn't matter on the internet. And at its core, that's going to foster a community that's really fucking annoying. And it being an online fandom, I'm sure if you've seen any kind of discourse from other online series, be that old web series like RWBY, new web series like The Amazing Digital Circus, or even like web creators like Game Theory or whatever, people in the audience are so fucking entitled and want to make everything about just like fandom based thing. They want to make the thing that their fandom is for about the fandom, and that's not how creative media works.
What was that comment about Game Theory? Is this what you want to say about my Game Theory ranking, Don?
It's gotten to a point where the Death Battle casts themselves are either just a debate, just talking about matchups that could happen on Death Battle, or it's fireside chats where it's like, you know, there's fun stuff to be had there. Sometimes they talk about other stuff, but like the meat of all of it is just matchups all the fucking time. I miss when Death Battle Cast used to be them talking about what the fuck ever, and then at the end of it, they would be like, what's the matchup we're going to come up with today? We're going to do Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia versus J. Jonah Jameson. Debate it in the comments. Find whatever the fuck. And then the next episode, they would be like, here's what people said on Twitter. Here's our funny arguments. And it would just be like side content. And the Death Battle Cast used to be a lot more fun than they are, which I understand. Again, they only have so many resources, they only have so much money, and they only have so much time. So Death Battle Cast can't always be what it was, but we had Death Battle Cast, we had DBX, we had Desk of Death Battle, which, I mean, we still have stuff like, I guess, the like creator commentary tracks or the bloopers or whatever that you get if you're like a channel member. But there used to be like actual content in between death battles. Like, and even then, like, I remember back in the Screw Attack days where even if there wasn't death battle stuff coming out at the time, there might be a Screw Attack top 10 that had Wizard Boomstick in it. That was pretty fun. And if there wasn't, then on the Screw Attack channel, there would still be just other shit for me to watch, which is, I can't complain that death battle's not Screw Attack anymore. But God, I miss Screw Attack.
The Desk of Death Battle thing really gets me. I just put it out there. If they want a Desk of Death Battle about Godzilla, I would do it for free. You don't need any fancy editing. I got so much random bullshit to share. I would love to explain why Santa Claus is mentioned in Godzilla's analysis. I would love to talk about how Godziban establishes that all kaiju are like born, like exist as like this like dream, and the kaiju can accomplish anything they want because they're powered by the dreams of others. It's like, that's so random. Or like the general Godzilla clan existing, and how there's still more to Godziban that I don't know because it's just not translated into English. And I would love to know more. I love Godziban. It's so fun. And Chibi Godzilla as well in a different way.
Almost a prototypical version of like what, like, I guess nerdcore or like nerdcore, like nerd culture type stuff puts on like YouTube shorts these days of just like, here's this thing you probably didn't know about this comic or anime or game that's kind of fucking stupid, or shit that you see in like a Watch Mojo top 10s, where the Desk of Death Battle would be like, here's a whole episode about the fucking Brazilian Megamind X comic. This shit is stupid, it doesn't make any sense, but we found it while doing research and we thought you would find it kind of funny to learn about. And I did find it kind of funny. Jocelyn, please come home. We miss you.
Yeah, I would love to see a space, because
I don't want her to be cameos all the time.
Like, it's not to say I love Desk of Death Battle as a series as much as I think they already put the research in. They've got it there. They can't mention everything, and some of the stuff is completely useless in the episodes. I think the issue is that in their minds, they'll be thinking, well, the resources that'll go into the editing. And I think you don't need that. You don't need the fancy editing. You don't need the funny little animation for Jocelyn. You don't need that. You can just have basic editing because the focus is on the content. It's on what's in it. And I know that...
YouTube Shorts now. If they made YouTube Shorts or a Death Battle TikTok page where they just like a Desk of Death Battle TikTok page or Desk of Death Battle YouTube Shorts on the Death Battle channel, just about Jocelyn, or even the editors themselves being like, hey, while I was researching, here's something fucking stupid that I found, and I'm just gonna rant about this for like a minute. So,
and like I was gonna say, let's look at this year's combatants and what could be done for them, but I realized I just don't know enough of them well enough. Like with Cell, my first thought on Cell would be like the fact that he wasn't even supposed to exist when that arc was beginning, like the hysterical history of how Cell even came into being.
With Toriyama's editor just being a massive fucking dickhead,
or even like here's Cell X. You've seen this before. What,
you know what would be so fun for Metal Sonic?
Here are some Metal Sonic
you've never heard of. Like, here's a Silver Sonic. Here's these other Silver Sonics. Here is Mecha Sonic. You may remember him from these, but he's actually from this. Here's that stupid fucking like rocket ship Metal Sonic from Sonic the Fighter.
Yeah,
like,
Rocket Metal.
There are so many other iterations of this character.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Bakugo, I think, is hard. With Bakugo, honestly, you could have just taken the TNT thing and made that its own video, like its own Desk of Death Battle relative to Bakugo. I know he wouldn't be the focus there, but like it would be on theme. You probably can't do anything for Reze.
Reze had barely enough content to fill an actual
analysis. You probably can't do Reze at all. No. there's definitely stuff with Gru and Megamind. Like there's like with Megamind, you can talk about like they even mentioned in the corner box. There's multiple timelines going on after the events of the first film. You can talk about all of them. You can do a video on the Doom Syndicate and like how they predate the movie. Like what's up with this version of them and that. That could be pretty doable. With Gru, there's so much random Despicable Me stuff you could definitely pull for an episode. And for Yusuke Ichigo, I mean that's you. You can explain that one. I had no idea there.
You
You're
could talk
the
about
Bleach
the
fan.
Bleach movies and how technically the Bleach movies are canon. There's stuff from them that gets referenced, and like at least one of them was written by Kubo, and most of them were overseen by him. So like, I don't know, the canonicity of the movies is very odd. Or talk about the Bleach novels, because that's something a lot of Bleach fans, including me, have not read and don't know that much about. Or with Yu Yu Hakusho, you can talk about Yu Yu Hakusho's original ending. I know it ended in the manga a lot earlier than it did in the anime, and the anime like helped to flesh out the ending. Funnily enough, just like what Bleach is going to do with Thousand Year Blood War.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. No, or you look at let's we look at last year, right? Kratos. Yeah, there's so much content to talk about. You can talk about the stuff he was doing while he was a god. You can talk about his history with Deimos, his brother. Like, did you know Kratos has a brother? Which people probably know more now because there's a whole game about them. Yeah, you can talk about the many crossovers of Kratos. With Azura, there's only one thing you could talk about, I think, and that would be the manga. And I think that could be interesting. Just to talk about how this, like,
I mean,
really...
in the analysis, I don't think they put much emphasis on that time he fought Akuma so hard it split the moon in half, and then they turned into statues.
Yeah, there's definitely that. With Spawn, there's definitely going to be
What
stuff
is
to
there
talk
not
about.
to talk about with Spawn?
Ghost Rider's got a lot of history. Shigaraki Maito kind of letting down the team, I think. I don't know what you could do with that. Master Chief Doomslayer. There's so much there. They could talk about the characters, for one thing.
They could talk about Halo Wars. They could talk about Johnson's green machine from Halo Wars.
They could talk about Fall of Reach and go into all the details of the Spartan program. Like, that would be a really interesting one. Like, what makes a Spartan? You know? Like, how to go, how they develop, you know? The history of Halo. With Doomslayer, like, you can just talk about, like, the history of the character, what he did. With Simone, I think the most interesting one could be looking into the novel, like the one that gives him his big scaling. What actually happens in it? What is going on in that book? Or no, it's not the novel. It's a drama, like a CD thing, I think. In the thing that gives him out-of-versal bullshit, what's going on? What's up with that? With Kyle, there's probably something. I think with Kyle, talk about the journey to get White Land, like actually go into what he did to get it and what it represents, as opposed to kind of just glossing over it, or even talk about what he was before that, because that's something that I think definitely gets overlooked with Kyle. Is he's not White Lantern. Like, I mean, he is, but before he's White Lantern, he's Green Lantern. You know?
When are we gonna get the Desk of Death Battle retrospective? When are we gonna get not Desk of Death Battle, or sorry, Desk of Not Death Battle?
Desk of Not Death Battle. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I could. The issue is, the way I like to approach things is that I do like, and this will be notable in like the next episode that'll come out, is I like to cover like the history of the characters in the episode, at least like to a degree, like an abridged version of their history, because I want my analysis to feel something like a celebration of all that a character is. But there are times where that doesn't apply, like with the fucking Sharktopus. That would be interesting to do.
Yeah, what the fuck is there to celebrate about Sharktopus?
Nothing.
He's
Or
gonna
like,
get you.
or like FNAF, there would definitely be a lot to talk about. Would I want to do that? No. Yeah, it would definitely depend. But like Death Battle has so much, like, how much Wily and Tomcat stuff was there that just didn't get in the episode? You know? Same with Miles.
Like they had to pull stuff from everything from like crazy, like what was it, a fucking mobile game that they pulled like the Chinese mythology stuff from. There was the fucking comic that they pulled the Roadrunners like writing the script from, like shit that I'm like, okay, I've seen a lot of cartoons from these two. I had not seen this side content, so this is actually kind of fucking like crazy info reveals to me.
Yeah. Like, there's stuff to do. There's stuff with Miles. There's plenty, a lot with Hulk and Godzilla to do. Even with Ruby, like, talk about, like, the light novel. Like, the beach light novel. Talk about the manga. Talk about the other manga. You know? Where, like, random bullshit happens. Talk about the fact that she...
Ruby
for
Chibi
some...
scaling.
Talk about Ruby Chibi. For some reason, in one of the mangas, Ruby has stage fright. Which, like, that's not a thing. But, like, that's interesting. That's different, you know? She has a fight with Carden. And it's all like, I don't know if I want to do this.
What
I'm
would
nervous.
probably happen if they did a Desk of Death battle today about Ruby? It would probably be the fucking DC crossovers.
No, shut your mouth. Shut the fuck up. With Maka, I feel like with Soul Eater, you would do, like, how it connects to Fire Force. Like, that would be, like, the focus, like, how exactly we know. But, like, that would also be
the other manga that he made that's tied into Soul Eater.
Am I?
Yeah, it's called Soul Eater Not.
Yeah, but, like, that's for Deska, not Death Battle to tackle.
Oh, of course.
I think Buffy speaks for herself. There's so much going on there. Same with, like, I think Blade, definitely, you could talk about, like, his ridiculous weapons that appeared once ever and disappeared. Dante, there's a lot with Devil May Cry to talk about, especially, like, the novels. Like, there's one where I think the universe hits him in the face and he just walks it off, I think.
How fucking funny would it be if Desk of Not Death Battle went through, like, actual death battles and made content about versions of the characters they did not use, where it's like, we're going to do a Desk of Not Death Battle about Bomberman versus Dig Dug, and we're specifically going to deep dive into the lore of Bomberman Act Zero.
Don't give me ideas.
We're gonna talk about in Mr. Driller fucking Dig Dug being a horribly divorced old man.
I already had the idea of, like, a show called, like, Adaptation Assault, where I just do actual death battles, but it's only the adaptations of those characters. So, like, with Ghost Rider Spawn, it would be everything that's not their comics. It would be, like, Ghost Rider's cartoon appearances, his 2 movies, not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's a different guy. With Spawn, it would be his appearance in video games, in Soul Calibur, in his cartoon, his movie. Like, that's an idea I think could be really fun. What you're saying is kind of, like, verging into that a bit.
It's got such funny potential to be like, we're gonna do a Desk of Death battle on these characters, but exclusively a version of the characters that the fans really fucking hate. Like, we're gonna do a Desk of Death battle on Dante versus Clive, but right now we're gonna talk about DMC.
Let's talk about Dante for a moment. I mean, Clive is a character where, sadly, Clive, there's really nothing to talk about with him. Because, like, there's a lot that goes on in his game, but it's all, like, his game. I don't think you could do much with him. I mean, but Ash and Yugi, you could do a whole season of Desk of Death battle where you're just talking about those two, right? Like...
Yeah, you could just talk about, like, I think there's 10 different, like, manga or comic adaptations of Ash, because there's Electric Tail of Pikachu, there's the Ash and Pikachu manga, there's the Pokemon comic strip, there's the Diamond and Pearl manga, there's a version that appears in, I think, My Magical Pokemon Journey or something like that. There's a manga adaptation for all of the movies. I think a couple even have 2 different adaptations. There's the adaptation of Journeys, where it's Ash and Go going on their adventures. There's Pokemon Puzzle League Ash.
You know, I'm going to go through, like, the whole list of every episode of Death Battle and just see, like, what comes to mind for, like, really shit versions that would get a Desk and Not Death Battle. So, Boba Fett, I don't think there's much to go on there. Samus, Akuma. I mean, with Akuma, there's a lot of versions of him, but the only one that people dislike is the one in Tekken, which I don't think I want to talk about. Shang Tsung, Rogue. I mean, Wonder Woman probably got plenty to go over. Goomba Koopa, Hagar. I mean, the thing with Hagar would be talking about, like, specifically the Final Fight timeline that has nothing to do with the Street Fighter timeline.
Fucking Streetwise.
I'm thinking of, like, with, like, Final Fight Revenge.
Oh
It
yeah.
was just not the same thing, but that's where they get like the big feat for Akuma, which is funny. Ninja Turtles is like just rife with options.
Oh yeah.
There's the anime that ran 2 episodes, the OVA. There's the Next Mutation. There's Coming Out of Our Shells.
There's
Uh,
the last fucking arc of 2012.
there's the Bay films. Yeah, there's Ninja Turtles 3. Uh, The only thing with Blaze Blue I can think of people dislike is the anime, which I don't think is interesting to talk about.
I don't know.
I mean,
People don't
okay,
really love the visual novels.
but isn't that just canon?
Yes,
Exactly. So, well, I mean, with Felicia, it
the
would be
visual
like
novels, the
the
actual
different-
novels, the manga, everything is canon but the anime.
I think with Darkstalkers, the interesting thing would be like the 2 completely different animated adaptations.
Oh no, you know what you could talk about for BlazBlue? Actually, talk about Damon and Baby.
So, Spawn's got plenty. Bomberman will be Act Zero, yeah. Shadow, Is there like a widely disliked version of Shadow? I don't know.
There's King Shadow from the Archie comics. I don't know if people disliked him, but he's
Mario
there.
and Sonic have a lot to talk about. I don't want to do Harry Potter. Chun-Li has her own entire movie dedicated to her that nobody cares about, which I think is quite funny. Starscream, man, they even brought up some of the stuff people don't like Teletran Go-Go with like the panties
I think
thing.
it's funny
Awful.
in Transformers Animated how in the first episode, Starscream is like, I'm going to make myself the leader of the Decepticons since it seems like Megatron has died. And then they just leave the ship and
Yeah.
he fucking barrels into the sun.
Like they just abandoned him. He's a fucking loser. I
They
love
leave
anime
and he just gets
Starscream.
incinerated.
Okay, with Rainbow Dash, I would love to talk about G3 Rainbow Dash. I would rather do it with Pinkie Pie, because the funniest thing with Pinkie Pie is that she is the neurotypical one in G3, which is so funny, considering what she is in G4, where she is absolutely not. And the best part is that, like, G3 Pinkie Pie is the voice of reason for a different character, the GOAT, the legend, the myth, the perfect pony, Minty, who is, like,
I like Minty.
Like, I love Minty. Everyone calls her like the autism coded one, and like you can see
I
it.
mean, like, there's a whole Christmas special where Christmas gets ruined and she gives everybody socks because she loves socks. She gives them like custom made socks that she went out of her way to make for everybody.
I love Minty, and like I made these jokes with someone watching G4 for the first time that like Pinkie Pie Shang Tsung sucked the autism, the neurodivergence out of Minty and took it for herself in G4, which, you know, funny little gag, haha. But then I get to G5 and I find they brought Minty back and she's neurotypical now, and it's like, did Pinkie actually do that? Is that just a thing she did? It sure seems like
funny.
it. With Doom Guy, I mean, I know the obvious choice would be the movie, but I would love to talk about the book, like the novels that the movie bases itself on. Like the whole like demons are just people. That's from a book. That's from a Doom book. I'd love to talk about that. If I could find it. With Master Chief, I want to talk about Fall of Reach. I love that book.
Instead, you could talk about the show. You could talk about the Halo show.
I could kill myself too. Eggman. I mean, with Eggman, the most like I think the worst version of Eggman is Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I hate to say it. I'm not counting 06, but like, I mean,
the worst version of Eggman is OVA Eggman, where he's trying to kidnap and marry like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, but like I'm not counting. That doesn't count. That's not Eggman. Wily. I'm sure there's something there. With Zelda, I would love to talk about my favorite version of Zelda.
Surely you could just count fucking Ruby Spears Wily for that.
I guess. Yeah, the one where he's like extremely German.
Yeah.
My favorite version of
I'm
Zelda
going to
is the
rule
one
the
from
world by destroying Megamind.
the fucking dick cartoon version of Zelda is my favorite one, and I think that's really funny.
Some hero.
Because like she's like the most consistently competent Zelda. Like she spends most of her episodes getting shit done, which like she probably accomplishes more on screen than every other Zelda combined has on screen. Just because they'll do one major thing in this game. And then I mean, I guess aside from Hyrule Warriors.
Excuse me, princess.
Peach, it'd be really funny instead to talk about Daisy from the movie.
It would be really funny if you did a Deke adaptation ranking.
It's possible.
Because
Thor's
that
got stuff.
would rank everywhere from the fucking Zelda cartoon to fucking Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac with Bowling for Soup cover of Iran.
I have thought about doing the cartoon Seiya versus cartoon Sailor Moon, who both had like one episode each.
That'd be really funny.
Raiden, I know the obvious one would be like the really bad one from Annihilation and the really bad one from 2021. My mind is thinking of Journey Begins, though.
Ugh.
That Thor versus Raiden would be a really funny one to do like adaptation only for. Link.
You do Thor from the
CGI.
fucking TV series from Hulk.
Yeah, his one appearance in Hulk. Yeah. Cloud. Batman and Spider-Man have so much that's going on. This is just season 1. Like, there's definitely a lot of stuff to do.
I'm trying to think, what would be a good comparison for the Electric Company version of Spider-Man, where it's adapting fucking Spider-Man like Super Tales, and it's got him fighting shit like the Wall or the Tickler or the Sack.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that the 66 Batman is better against that than his other option. Is that just me? I'm just saying.
You have a point, but surely there's an even shittier version of Batman to fight that version of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roll, Robin.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I think maybe we've rambled long enough about
we've.
Death Battle.
Hey, remember when I was like accusing Minty of having autism?
What, like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago. And I'm glad that we never I'm glad we're so neurotypical. We never hyperfixate on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the reaction for Gru versus Megamind plus about 2 hours of other stuff going on.
Yuji Itadori and Denji Chainsaw Man eat shit. Die.
I really hope you're available to react to that one because it's gonna be so funny. You pause after every analysis, going, "Yeah, I mean, I guess that was the thing." Pause after the next one. Yeah, I guess that's the case.
No, it's gonna be that they talk about like, here's this thing that happened in this story, and here's this fight. I'm gonna pause and say this fight pissed me the fuck off. This shit sucked. Because it's gonna be talking about Yuji. It's gonna be talking about the Culling games and like this happened in the Sukuna fight and this happened in the Sukuna fight. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I remember that. That was fucking stupid. Or Chainsaw Man's gonna talk about like, and here's how Denji's arc concludes, and here's these things he did. I'm like, God, that fucking Chainsaw Man pisses me off.
I can't wait for them to name drop Sukuna and you to go, no bitch ass Sukuna.
Yeah.
It's like
speaking of anime, I gotta catch back up on Kagurabachi's manga because the anime finally got a teaser and it looks so good. And the director for the Kagurabachi anime, remember the Gara versus Lee fight from the Chunin exams? It's that guy. That guy's doing the Kagurabachi anime. I'm so excited.
I might actually look into Kagurabachi then. But right now I'm going to be reading Lady Snowblood because I like old things that nobody remembers. And I just finished playing Ghost of Yote, so like that whole thing of like revenge driven, like woman with a drive for revenge going around, you know, getting a pound of flesh. That's just on my mind right now, and yeah, Lady Snowblood.
What's that one like Crying Tom or some shit like that about the guy who's like he was like in deep with criminals and then he tries to run away from that life. and then he gets dragged back into it's some fucking old like samurai or like Yakuza story.
I'm
or
pretty
some
sure
shit like
that's.
that.
I'm pretty sure you're talking about John Wick there.
No, not John Wick. I think John Wick's probably inspired by. Yeah, I know it had movie. I can't fucking remember what it's called. I'm sure nobody in the comments knows what the fuck I'm talking about either. I sound like a crazy person, but I figured
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's that for
let's-
that. Goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye, Donovan.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye, everyone.